Hello, I'm Mary from Abelia, and today I'm going to overview our cognition solutions to support dementia care. I will also be speaking to Joan, who has dementia, her daughter Ryden, and their occupational therapist Kjetil, all who live in Norway, to find out the impact of dementia and how assistive technology can enable independence. Abelia is a Swedish company with a presence in Sweden, Norway, the UK, and through our partners, 20 additional countries. We've been inventing solutions to everyday problems in the UK for nearly 50 years, empowering people in their daily lives to take back control. Our cognition solutions support a range of conditions: autism, ADHD, learning disabilities, stroke, brain injury rehabilitation, as well as dementia, enabling the user to cope better with their daily life. Simple solutions indicate when you should start or how much time you should spend on an activity, to complete solutions that help you gain an overview and create structure in your daily life. Remote access allows family or support worker to offer just as much support as is necessary to enable independence.
The first thing I do when I wake up is check my mobile phone. And then I also check my handy to find out what's going to be happening that day. That's because different things happen on different days of the week, and I have difficulty keeping track of them.
Every morning I have my routines with my coffee, medication and newspaper. I can relax because Memo Planner reminds me about it at the same time every day.
Time can really fly in the mornings. I set a timer in the bathroom so that I know when I need to be ready. It's particularly easy to forget when I'm tired.
Emma and Eva are coming over for a birthday party today, so I have to go out and buy a few tasty treats to offer them.
As Emma's mum, I like being able to make entries on her handy without having to call her up. It also gives me a clear picture of what her day looks like. Things are easier to plan.
I would prefer to look after myself. I think it's quite annoying when my parents have to remind me about things, or if I've forgotten something. I always write out a list of what I have to take with me to school. For example, sometimes I forget my bus pass, and when I do, I get there late. But when I can read the list, I take everything with me.
There are a lot of things in the shop that can distract me. The easiest thing is to write a shopping list in peace and quiet at home before going to the shop. That way I feel more confident and I don't forget what I'm supposed to be buying. Here are the cinnamon buns.
I always put reminders in my handy, if we have homework for example. If I forget what I'm supposed to be reading up on, it's impossible to do well in the test. Sometimes I have difficulty keeping track of time. When I'm chatting with my friends, time can fly by so quickly that I forget what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, this is what I mean. I have to go see Grandad after school. Mum put it in my handy.
It's really good that Emma can keep track of time by herself. Before she got a handy, I used to write notes, but it didn't work as well. I often had to call her up and remind her. She found that annoying and often thought I was too chatty. The aids from Abelia mean that everyone can get the help they need, and both Dad and Emma are becoming more independent. I think they've both become a lot more self-confident since they got their handy and Memo Planner. Now they can cope better by themselves.
Our products are based around the quarter-hour principle. 1 dot equals 15 minutes. Dots disappear from top to bottom. A lot of dots and you have more time. As dots disappear, you have less time, making the invisible time visible. We have 4 cognition solutions: Memo Timer and Memo Dayboard low-tech, Memo Planner and Handy Calendar high-tech, giving a variety of areas of support. Okay, so today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Kjetil, Joan and Joan's daughter Ryden. Kjetil is an occupational therapist in Norway with a master's degree in elderly health. He works as a specialist occupational therapist at a day centre for people with dementia as part of a team, enabling the elderly to live longer and better at home. In 2005, Joan unfortunately had a stroke, which has left her with dementia. And Joan uses the day centre services and is the user of a memo planner. So a warm welcome to all of you, and it's lovely to meet you. Thank you for joining me today. So Shessel, it'd be good to start with you and learn a little bit more about your background and the day centre where you work.
On the daycare center, me and a colleague work, and we every day approximately 8 seniors, people with dementia comes there. Of course, now during COVID-19 we have to scale down, so nowadays it's just 5 persons every day who come there.
Fantastic. And so to find out a little bit more, how do you support somebody like Joan with a diagnosis of dementia, and how do you decide that say something like memo planner would be of use to her?
Yeah, well, in my work at the daycare center, I know the users. I meet them every week, a couple of days every week over a period. So I know them and I can see if there's changes. And if I think a memo planner can be at help for them, because maybe we can see that they start to forget some of their activities during the day. And maybe we have a conversation with the family, then I contact Abilia here in Oslo, and Abilia give us a memo planner to test it for 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay.
And after the trial period, we can of course we can decide, okay, has this worked or hasn't it worked? And if it works, I send an application to the social service so that the person gets it for free.
Oh, fantastic. That's brilliant. So Joan and Ryden, so Joan, give us a little bit of background about yourself. So did you work before you retired? What took you to Norway? Because that accent is definitely not Norwegian.
Well, when I first came to Norway, it was because to visit my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, because her husband was a musician, still is, and he played at the Oslo Philharmonic Orchestra.
Oh wow!
And yeah, and I went to see them often, and then she helped me to find a job in Norway, because I thought Norway was a beautiful country, and it'd be nice to work here.
And what work did you do?
I worked in a hotel up in the mountains. Every weekend, we girls that worked in the hotel, we used to hitchhike down to the village, Vinstra, and go dancing.
Well, there you go. So I understand as well that you used to work as an occupational therapist yourself, working with assistive aids out in the hospitals and community.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so 2005 obviously was a big change in your life. So before you had Memo Planner, what was life like in trying to plan and visualize your day-to-day life?
I think maybe that independence bit was a bit lacking in a way, that I felt I always had to phone you and remind you about things.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I think with the Memo Planner, Mom just told me yesterday that her morning routines, for instance, when she wakes up in the morning and gets up.
Yes.
Use the...
Oh, well, it's become a habit that I go and look at the memo planner. It's all right.
To see what you're doing during the day. So how were you remembering these things before Memo Planner?
Well,
Or did Ryden phone you up to remind you what was happening during the day?
Well, I think I often forgot arrangements I'd planned or thought I would go to.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
for example, I'd end up taking the tram down to the centre of Oslo and things like that, and sitting in a cafe.
So Ryden, for you, you were having to do a lot of input, I guess, with a busy schedule yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to see someone who is basically independent, that you have to always remind them about things. And I think that it's not nice for mom either, you know. I think it's so much easier now that it's her job to kind of look at the calendar, and she knows her day plans in a way. Yeah. And it's so easy to update it. So yeah. And sometimes I forgot, you know, and then I felt guilty about mom losing her appointments because I forgot to remind her in a way. Yeah. So
the Memo Planner's really enabled your independence, Joan.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And does somebody set that up for you? So Kjetil and Ryden, do you set the events and activities up for Joan?
Yeah, it's mainly me doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can do it together with mum when I visit, or I can do it remotely when at work or whenever. And I like if my sister phones me and gives me some information, I could just plot it into the calendar wherever I am. Without traveling abroad, for instance. Yeah.
Yeah. That's brilliant. So you've got access to it both home and away.
Yeah.
And what about the little story you were telling me about the family photos that go on there?
Yeah. At Easter, for instance, I was Skyping with mum via the memo planner, and after we hung up, I uploaded a photograph from our ski trip that day, so she could actually see it. So I kept it on, and I could time it so it went on the screen for until 10 o'clock in the evening, just like Easter hello, you know, in a way. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it helps you sort of like keep in touch when you're away as well.
Yeah. And I think the Skype function has been that's been fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it quite good that it's all in one place rather than having to think about, I've got a planner for this and I've got an iPad for that, and
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having a chat with me today. Really appreciate your time. Delighted to see that the memo plan is in the background, so we can see that our activity's on there at the moment. And thank you very much.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been very nice meeting you.
It's been lovely meeting you, Joan. And thank you, Kjetil, and thank you, Ryden, as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We have an Abelia UK YouTube account where you can find a library of how-to videos to help you get started, together with product overviews and our webinars. We offer training to suit and a support desk Monday to Friday. In addition to our YouTube account, we have a presence on LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for listening.